Great. Okay, so we will have this Q&A available. Again, thank you, Senator Wynn and Rep. Fitzgibbon, for indulging our questions. Thank you to the Healthcare Caucus. Thank you to the EELU Caucus for bringing great questions. And we will definitely hope to do this again in the fall before we go in for Christmas break, for holiday break. All right. I also want to just call out that there should be a link in the chat for anyone who wants to join or renew your membership. Hopefully that's there for you. Definitely need to get that done tonight if you're a new member. Very good. And lastly, this recording will be on, or both of these recordings will be on YouTube in our channel. Sarah will also put that YouTube channel link in the chat for you. Bookmark that. We post everything up there, all of our programs, all of our meetings for you to review if you can't make it. And with that, I'd like to welcome everyone to the May meeting of the 34th District Democrats. I'm Carla Rogers, Chair of the 34th, and I'm now calling the meeting to order. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we'll get started. I do want to call out that we had planned to have Rep. Cody here as well, but she is on vacation in Eastern Washington and let me know just earlier this afternoon that she did not, she was not going to be able to attend. She sent her regards, but she didn't feel that she had solid internet, that it would be a good experience for you. So we appreciate her trying to join us on her vacation, but obviously that didn't work out this evening. All right, again, calling the meeting to order. We just, anybody that has joined us a little late, we had our post-session wrap-up with our Senator Wynn and our Representative Fitzgibbon, and this is really a part of the bonus that you get when you attend our meetings and our activities. We have actual access to our elected officials. They in turn receive our input and our feedback on the issues that are most important, and so we again thank you for your time spending a few minutes on Wednesday night for us sharing your feedback. All right, this month we find ourselves in the beginning of the fight of 2022. After Trump finally went away, we were all, I know, delighted to not have to hear from him on a daily basis again, but here we are living his legacy. A legacy which includes packing the Supreme Court with justices willing to take away a woman's right to control her own body. The Supreme Court draft opinion is evidence that this is our not so distant reality. What can we do? What should we be doing? I'm hopeful that there will be some protests, which we can be a part of. I personally need a good march to feel like I'm shouting to the world that this is not okay. We must do more than post on Facebook and Twitter. We must band together to stop the drip, drip, drip that is starting to take us in a direction away from our progressive values. Roe isn't the only bellwether, though. There is plenty of evidence out there that they're coming after our rights. Our rights to marry who we love in some states are already being challenged. How can this rollback be happening? I need you all to get angry with me. Get resolved to make sure that you do everything you can to support the fight. The fight is coming right here to Washington State, folks. There are plenty of things you can do, though. We're going to be starting our work this summer. If you're interested in starting early and moving outside the district, we will have those early opportunities. Stay tuned and make sure to make a commitment this year. As Rachel mentioned, as Joe mentioned, this is coming at us really fast, and we all need to band together and make sure we elect Democrats this fall. Without further ado, I will pass back to Rachel, who will share our land acknowledgement.
Sorry, I was muted. Thank you, Carla. On behalf of the 34th LD Democrats, I acknowledge the land on which we stand today as the traditional home of the Coast Salish and Duwamish people, the traditional home of all tribes and bands within the Suquamish, Tulalip, Snoqualmie, Puyallup, and Muckleshoot nations. Without them, we would not have access to this gathering or to this dialogue. I ask that we take this opportunity to thank the original caretakers of this land on which we live and work, who are still here.
Thank you, Rachel. Now for VIP acknowledgements. Rep. Fitzgibbon, and I think we may have lost Senator Wynn. He had an engagement later on this evening. Anything else you'd like to comment on, or any announcements you might have this evening?
Thanks, Carla. No, I have nothing. I'm just grateful to everybody for taking the time out of their evening to support Democrats here in our neighborhood. So thanks for all you do.
Awesome, thank you. And I think you said just use less or something like that. That's got to be a slogan or a bumper sticker out there. I like that. I'm going to call on Burien City Council member Sarah Moore for any comments or announcements.
No, this is my first 34th meeting, and I did not prepare any comments or announcements, but I'll be more ready next time.
Oh, no problem. Don't mean to put you on the spot, but you are welcome to prepare a few minutes of announcements for our next meeting. Thanks for joining, Sarah. All right, let's move over to our agenda. Okay, we have a lot of business tonight. You'll see on the screen the proposed agenda for our meeting. Please stick with me as I try to handle all of our kind of yearly business stuff in one single meeting. This is going to probably be a little bit of a drag for a meeting, but we've got to do it. It's just part of being an organization. Thanks for hanging in there during this evening's meeting. Any discussion or questions on the agenda? If not, may I have a motion and a second to adopt the agenda?
I move. This is Chris Porter.
Second.
All right, Chris Porter made the motion and Ann Martin seconded. Are there any objections to the adoption of the agenda? Any objections? All right, hearing no objections, the motion passes by unanimous consent and the agenda is adopted. Moving along to meeting minutes. These will be in the chat for you. I also send them out in our pre-meeting email to members on the weekend prior. You'll see our meeting minutes. They're very small. I realize you can't probably read them, but that's why I send them to you in email. Are there any corrections to the minutes? All right, any corrections? If not, can I have a motion, please?
Sarah Koch, so moved.
Thank you, Sarah. Seconded by Ann Martin. Are there any objections to the adoption of the minutes from the April 13th meeting? Any objections? All right, hearing no objections, the motion passes by unanimous consent and the minutes are adopted. Moving along to our budget report. All right, so there's going to be two links tonight in the chat. One is for the actual April month budget report, and then you'll also receive the link for the full year treasurer's report. This is a year-end full year report. Both were also sent out in the email earlier this week. But feel free to take a look at those while Julie comes on and gives you the treasurer's report.
Hi, everyone. This is Julie. I'm your treasurer. Our beginning balance as of April 1st was $29,616.73. Our income was $1,932.87. Our expenses were $1,104.89. So our month-end balance was $30,444.71. So we gained $827.98. Great job.
Awesome. Starting to see some income coming in for the fundraiser, and we'll see a big jump later this summer in July when we have our fundraiser. We have a nice hefty goal of $20,000, I think, to raise at that fundraiser. Any questions for Julie on the treasurer's report? A quick note that the fiscal year did end on April 30th. So later this evening, we're going to look at a proposed budget for 2022, 2023. And at that point, you can ask questions about our go forward. Sarah will we'll go ahead just in case you want to look at this while you're enjoying the rest of the meeting. Sarah will put a link in the chat for the proposed budget as well. Are there any questions, any further questions for Julie for the April or the year-end report? All right.
Okay, good.
Being
Thank you.
done, thank you, Julie. The reports will be filed for audit. I will also note, as you can see on the slide here, we had a total of 138 paid members as of yesterday. I think we may have gotten another one after I made my notes here. And then we also, I believe, still have 101 PCOs, and that is post redistricting. Thank you to everyone who's renewed or joined this year. We'll start making calls to generate renewals later on this month. So if you forget, we will not let you forget. Just one more reminder that in order to vote next month, you need to renew or join. We have, again, our deadlines tonight for a member that has never joined, and then someone who's renewing, you will have until the night before the endorsements meeting. So click the link in the chat. I think we'll get that in the chat for you again to join the organization. All right, next up, I am going to, oh, yes. All right, I think I might be a little bit out of order here. I'm gonna go here first. Gina Top, our events and fundraising chair, was unable to join tonight because she had a work commitment. So I think that she's prepped Rachel to give you a few details about the upcoming fundraiser.
Okay, thank you, Carla. Yes, I want to talk about the our fundraiser, Paint the Night Blue. It's going to be on July 14th, as you can see on the screen, Thursday at Arthur's. And we are working on some really fun, exciting things to have happen at this. There's going to be an opportunity to join in on a Raise the Paddle. We are also looking at a, it's a mystery, and you're going to have to stay tuned to find out what it ends up being. But we're going to have a, because the theme of our night is blue, we're going to have a special cocktail. We're going to have an alcoholic and a non-alcoholic version of these drinks. So we will give a chance for you to partake, to bid, and it is a fundraiser. So we are looking for different ways that you can come and show your support for the 34th LD by contributions, by raffles. We are going to have a raffle with some exciting, fun giveaways to be associated with that. We're going to have our, we're looking into some entertainment. So I'm giving you all these teasers because I want you to just have a little bit of an appetizer. Then we're going to have more of the main course unfold as we get closer to the date. But please know that it's going to be a fantastic evening. We're going to have some special guests there who will be speaking on all kinds of important issues that are important to us in the 34th and to us as Democrats. And so we really look forward to you all turning out and stepping out to put on your best blue, your most wonderful, exotic, humorous, fancy, gorgeous things that you would like to wear. We have been in a pandemic, so we haven't gotten to have too many opportunities to get dressed up. So we would like this to be one of these opportunities for you. So please join us. If you have any questions, you can reach out to Carla, our chair, or you can reach out to anyone on the fundraising committee. I am one of those members of the fundraising committee, so I'm helping to get this wonderful event set up. Please feel free to reach out to me as well if you have any questions. Thank you, and we'll look forward to getting more information out to you and having you purchase your tickets now.
Yes, please. And thank you to all those who have already purchased tickets. We have different levels of tickets as well. The link should be in the chat now, as well as on screen here. If you'd like to go ahead and get your tickets, we would love that, and we'd love to see you there. This should be a fun night. This is not an uptight thing. You can come as you are. You can wear jeans and a t-shirt if you want, but you can also get dressed up if you want to. It's very laid back, and it will be a laid back and fun event, but it should be blue. You should be wearing blue. All right. So thank you, Rachel, for doing that. Let me back up, do a couple of quick announcements. I have a couple things to tell you about convention. Our delegation of 44 has been hard at work this last month. We submitted 39 updates to the State Party platform. I believe this is the first year that this has been allowed, and I applaud the State Party for leading the charge in giving members a voice. Sarah will share the link to the proposed platform and our amendments. If you'd like to see what was submitted, this information can also be found on the website. I particularly am proud of how many really timely and important updates that we were able to suggest, and how the group of delegates worked really well through them. Thank you to Bunny and Anne in particular for helping me kind of lead us through this process. It's been a lot of work, but very well intended. After the amendments deadline had passed, we moved over to resolutions. We consider resolutions at the local party level, which we're going to do 2 tonight. But at convention, however, those resolutions are stepped up in authority and represent the policies that our state party rallies behind. So pretty big deal, and we are allowed to submit 2 resolutions for the convention. The deadline to submit resolutions was May 6th, and we got 5 different resolutions, and the delegation will be meeting this Sunday to figure out which of those 5 we want to submit by the deadline. We'll be wrapping up our activities after the May 25th resolutions deadline. And at that point, we'll be ready to attend convention in June. I want to thank all the delegates for taking the time to invest in our state party process. Also want to thank, as I said before, Bunny and Anne, and also Zach Ricketts for serving as our representatives to the platform, rules, and credentials committees. For any delegates out there who are planning to attend in person, please be sure that you look for your emails from Drew Estep from the State Party. He's sent through information already, and I'm sure there's more to come. And if you're planning to stay overnight, I think they have hotel blocks. So definitely look for those emails. The first one came about a week and a half ago. Our next pop-up social will be held on Friday, May 20th. That is not this Friday, but the following Friday from 5:30 to 8 at Georgetown Liquor Company. Consider coming out and hanging out with us. King County Executive Dow Constantine will be on hand for this particular social. So don't miss the opportunity to engage with Executive Constantine and also obviously your 34th neighbors. We are heading down to Georgetown for our first social in kind of the new part of the 34th. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to meet some of our 34th district voters and members that have joined through redistricting. The following week, Thursday, May 26th, we'll be partnering with the West Seattle Democratic Women to host a debate between the candidates running for Rep. Cody's seat in the House. This debate will be an opportunity to get to know Leah Griffin and Emily Alvarado while learning how they stand on progressive issues and policies. We, of course, will be looking for any additional folks who might file. Next week is filing week. Nick's going to talk about that in a little bit. And then the 20th, we will be set. Again, I want to thank Ann Martin. She's president of the West Seattle Democratic Women, Ted Barker, Chris Porter, and Jordan Crowley for organizing the debate. And I'll be sharing a link to join that debate later on this month in our email and on our website. This will not be a registration event. We'll just be able to join, and I will be sure to have that event Zoom link available in lots of places so you can find it and join us on the 26th. As I've said a couple of times, you know how it takes a lot of times to say things so that you remember. Our endorsement meeting is next month, and it is on the 8th, June 8th at 6:30. I'm still looking for folks who will step up and help me make that meeting happen. It's a lot of work in the background with our ballots and votes and making sure that everybody's credentialed, you know, in this sort of Zoom endorsement process. So please, if you are willing to help, please let me know, and my email should be in the chat so you can sign up. Our next board meeting is next Wednesday, the 18th, from 7 to 8:30. And as always, anytime you want to join to see our board meeting, you are free to do that, and just let me know and I'll get you the link. We will not have a regular meeting in July. We did a poll last year and we had really low attendance in July. So I have opted, based on the poll results, that folks felt pretty comfortable not having a meeting in that month. So I have decided to go ahead and cancel our July meeting, but instead you can come to the fundraiser. If you would rather volunteer, that's also an option, and reach out to Gina Top if you'd like to do that. All right, let us move on to our candidate spotlight. Let me see. Okay. So tonight we've got, this is sort of like an appetizer, as Rachel said, to our debate, but we have both candidates who have filed for Rep. Cody's seat. They'll be taking the center stage in a couple weeks, but we're going to hear a little bit from them tonight. And then we also have one judicial candidate as well. So let's go ahead and start. 2 to 3 minutes. We won't time you, but 2 to 3 minutes, just share a little bit of your story. And we'll start with Andrea Jarman. I believe it's Jarman. If I'm wrong, my apologies.
No apologies necessary, and that's perfect. Is my audio okay?
Yes, you sound great.
Oh, excellent. All right, so that's half the battle right there. You can see me and you can hear me. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to introduce myself and share a little bit about my story of my journey to seeking this position. I like to say that my journey to the bench really started on the 174, bus number 174. It's the longest route, if you're familiar with the downtown Seattle area and South Federal Way. As a teenager, the 174 was my abode. It was shelter because I was a homeless youth who was escaping abuse. When I left my home, the final night that I was with my birth parents, it was leaving out of a window in the middle of the night with bags of clothing that I had scrambled to gather together after essentially escaping my mother's partner, who'd entered into the room with a gun and closed the door and turned the lights off. So after he'd left, we decided, let's keep these lights off and climb through the window and get out of here. The 174 was where I would ultimately meet someone who would put me in connection with Julie Zarelli. Julie Zarelli, the late Julie Zarelli, she passed away several years ago. She would become a mentor to me and literally usher and guide me to the completion of high school and then into the doors of the University of Washington. She ultimately encouraged me to attend law school, which I did. And once I graduated from law school, I was committed to giving voices to stories like mine, homeless youth, victims of domestic violence. And then I also had the challenge of navigating our complicated legal system. So I started out as a prosecutor with the city of Seattle. I spent time there and then went to the city of Auburn, and then ultimately took a position at the Attorney General's office where I got to do more complex legal cases. Because I'd met my mentor, Julie Zarelli, on the campus of a community college, those hold very special places for me in my heart. So I took some time off actually to teach full time at a community college. I taught for several years at Green River Community College and then taught 2 years full time at Tacoma. But unfortunately, I was encountered by so many students who had a legal problem or legal issue. And because of my position as instructor, I could not actually assist them. So I went into private practice to give quality, affordable legal services to individuals. In that position as a private counsel representing mostly indigent individuals in criminal and family law matters, I had the opportunity to observe on a daily basis what I would come to refer to as the daily assaults upon the dignities of individuals, families, and many in particular, families of color. And so my decision to run is really a decision that's predicated on the belief that at a certain point, we are implicated in the system when we observe practices and don't avail ourselves to opportunities to become a different part and pursue a different role. So that's why I recently declared my candidacy for King County District Court. I bring to the bench a wealth of experience, having been a muni prosecutor, an attorney, assistant attorney general, and currently as an appeals judge and a pro tem commissioner in King County Superior Court. I would be a little bit disingenuous to you if I did not also suggest to you that I'm very mindful of the allegations that are floating regarding the current individual in position 2 that I've declared candidacy for. Nonetheless, those allegations are not my platform, but I do believe that the community is entitled to an individual who will make decisions that are fair and unbiased, and who the community can know and trust they will be seen and be heard. And so that's why I appreciate the opportunity to come before you and express just the qualifications and skill set that I'd like to bring to the bench. I'm going to place my information in the chat if that's appropriate and permissible, so that you can find out more information about my campaign. I'll also place a copy of my resume as well, but I'm certainly happy to entertain any questions that anyone has. Thank you again.
Absolutely. Thank you. And yes, feel free to put your information in the chat. Absolutely fine. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's nice to see you again. We just on KCDCC endorsement committee, we just interviewed Andrea Jarman.
Oh, great. Thanks, Bunny. Okay, next up, Emily Alvarado.
Well, thank you, Carla. Can you hear me okay?
Sound great.
Great. Well, thanks for the opportunity to introduce myself. I'm Emily Alvarado. I'm running to be your state representative. And I'm running because I believe that government has an obligation to meet the basic needs of all people. And I've spent my career in public service fighting for just that. I am a lawyer. I went to school at the University of Washington School of Law, where I was a Gates Public Service Law Scholar. I'm a Latina, and I care deeply about advancing racial equity and defending civil rights. I'm the child of public school educators and a parent of 2 kids in Seattle public schools, and I care about the future of our public institutions. I'll bring over a decade of experience to the legislature to address affordable housing and housing affordability. This is one of the least affordable regions in the country, and that has an impact on racial equity, on the environment, small businesses, arts, and working families. I served as the director of the City of Seattle Office of Housing, where I delivered progressive results, making record affordable housing investments, including in home ownership and community land trusts. I advanced climate resilient housing, helping homeowners convert from oil to electric heat and investing in transit-oriented development. I passed cutting-edge policies to address displacement and make sure that long-standing residents have a right to stay or return and not be priced out. I've been a steadfast advocate for people experiencing homelessness, and I focused investment on creating more supportive housing, which we know is the proven solution to homelessness. Through the pandemic, I passed tenant protections, I delivered rental assistance and foreclosure prevention services. I'll bring this comprehensive solution to the state, and I'll fight for progressive revenue because I know the power of public investments to create lasting, equitable infrastructure for our communities. I will unequivocally defend the right to access abortion and reproductive health care. I was a community organizer with Planned Parenthood for several years, and I fought on the front lines to defend reproductive justice. When I was at Planned Parenthood, I won the National Vision Innovation Award for my effort to amplify the grassroots power and leadership of Latinas to build a stronger reproductive justice movement. I am an advocate for quality public education and universal childcare. Currently, I work as a leader at a national community development nonprofit where I pass policies to create more early learning centers to support working parents and help children thrive. I'm proud already to have endorsements from Councilmember Mosqueda, Representative Macri, Senator Saldana, Senator Robinson, the American Federation of Teachers, the Housing Alliance Action Fund, and many community leaders. I love this district. I will fight for progressive policies, and I have the experience to get things done. I really look forward to talking with all of you, meeting more people, learning about your priorities, and I hope to earn the support of the 34th District Democrats. I'm doorbelling on Sunday. I hope you will join me, and you can find out more about me and my career and qualifications at emilyforwa.com. Thank you.
Thanks, Emily. And you are free to put your web address in the chat as well. All right, Leah Griffin.
Right, thank you, Carla. My name is Leah Griffin, and I am running for state legislature in the 34th Legislative District. I am a school librarian who knows the power of a story. My story is that in 2014, I was the victim of a violent crime, and I encountered a healthcare and a justice system that was broken. And over the past 8 years, I have worked with incredible lawmakers at the state and federal government to pass state and federal laws to fundamentally reform the systems that failed me. I learned how to make government work for me, and I'm running because I want to use that knowledge and experience to make government work for you too. Right now, my top priority is reproductive rights. When Roe falls, we will see a 385% increase in pregnant people seeking care in Washington. What I've learned from the last decade of work to increase healthcare access for survivors of sexual assault is that the right to a procedure does not guarantee meaningful access to it. We must stop Catholic hospital mergers that limit abortion care. We must fund abortions as costs escalate due to demand, and we must train doctors as other states stop. We need an experienced leader who has led and won specifically on healthcare access and training, and I have here in Washington and across the country. In addition to my work on healthcare, I work with youth every day as a school librarian. And what this pandemic has laid bare is that we are in the midst of a behavioral healthcare crisis. The firefighters union #1 concern is mental health care. Our nurses and our teachers are burning out. And if we're going to change this story, we must act with urgency to incentivize the education of mental health care practitioners and embed those services at the point of needs in our public schools and in our union halls. And we need more housing. We cannot keep repeating the same failed efforts from the last decade when we could be exhausting all options like social housing that utilizes a public developer model to keep costs permanently affordable. We must invest in permanent supportive housing using union labor that puts people in homes rather than sweeping them from block to block. My vision for Washington is one where we work together to back evidence-based solutions to our most challenging problems. Wages for workers have stagnated. We have to change that story. Climate change is getting worse. We have to change that story. And that's why I'm running. In a time of cynicism and exhaustion, I am so filled with hope and energy in the knowledge that we can use our stories to make this better together. And that's why I'm asking you to vote for me for state rep. I'm asking you to come doorbell with me. We have huge enthusiasm right now. I met Marty and some of you out door knocking last weekend. And I'm asking you to get involved in my campaign because it's real people working together to solve problems that makes our government function. And I'm so excited to be here today, and I'm asking for your support.
Awesome. Thank you, Leah. Same to you. Please place your info in the chat. Hopefully we'll get you all some volunteers. Thanks again also for visiting us. It means a lot to have candidates come and talk to us and ask for our votes. So I appreciate that, and best of luck with your campaigns. Speaking of elections, I want to invite Nick Vanaza to share the details about the upcoming PCO filing week. Starts Monday. Nick.
I'm here today to talk about PCO's filing for office. But before we start, I'd like to say a few things directly to current PCOs. Whether elected or appointed, your term ends November 30th, 2022, with the new term for elected PCOs beginning December 1st. And thank you, PCOs, for what you've done during your term. Thanks a lot, all of you have done. The window of time to file or refile begins Monday, May 16th, and it begins at 9 o'clock in the morning, and it ends Friday sharply at 4 o'clock p.m. With redistricting, we now have over 200 precincts with PCOs in just under half. If you are a PCO or would like to become a PCO, we need you. We know voters in precincts with PCOs have at least a 5% higher turnout. We know that Democrats are stronger together and that we can't win if we don't vote. The Democratic umbrella is large. PCOs represent a broad spectrum of Democrats in our 34th community. We don't always agree, but we share values that transcend our differences. Our democracy is being challenged, starting with fundamental rights like the right of every eligible voter to vote, and the fundamental right that has been law for 50 years, women's right to choose. We protect the vulnerable and elderly through Medicare and Social Security, yet Republican lawmakers, with the support of the chair of the Republican National Committee, are lining up behind Republican Senator Rick Scott and his plan to raise taxes and end Medicare and Social Security. Republican governor from Texas, Greg Abbott, is trying to end free public education for all in his state. We have a razor-thin majority in Washington, D.C., and although Washington State, King County, and the 34th vote Democratic, leads here can be marginal. What we do matters. A big turnout in King County, like in 2020, translate into wins for Democrats. This year will be pivotal to our democracy, and I ask PCOs and members to help us get out the vote. So we can go to slide 2, preparing. PCOs are partisan positions, and you must declare as a Democrat or a Republican. The declaration is, I declare that the above information is true, that I'm a registered voter residing at the residential address and precinct listed above, and that I am a candidate for precinct committee officer. for the party and precinct identified above. Further, I declare under penalty of perjury that I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States and the Constitution and laws of the state of Washington. If only one person files, they're automatically elected. If two or more file, their names will appear on the August primary ballot. The voter must affirm that they are the same party as the candidate. This preference is private and will not be matched to the voter's name or shared. Only voters in your precinct can vote. There are no write-ins. And actually, Carla, I think I jumped ahead on that one.
Okay.
Make sure you get your personal information together before you begin to file, and that your voter registration is current. Just type King County Elections filing for Precinct Committee Officer 2022 in your browser for applications and instructions for filing, including tutorials. Online filing is preferred, but you may choose to mail your application or file in person at King County Elections in Renton. I recommend mailing your application at this time. I don't recommend mailing your application at this time. Mail is not always on time. Verify your voter registration if it's current. Go to King County Elections, My Voter Information. You must be registered to vote in the precinct you are filing for. You must be at least 18 years old by the date of the primary election of August 2nd, 2022 to be eligible. If you are in a precinct that might have been part of a redistricting, check your precinct at King County Elections, Find My Districts, or contact me directly for assistance. Next slide. Prepare and submit your declaration of candidacy. Your name on the application must match the name you are registered to vote under. You may choose a nickname to show on the ballot that you are known by. For instance, Nick Bonazza instead of Nicholas Bonazza. If you use the same last name, it's fine. It can't denote occupation, military rank, position on issues, political affiliation, or be designed to misdirect voters. Once your application is filed, you can't change it without withdrawing it and refiling within the deadlines. All right. And Carla, let's go to the last slide, slide 5.
One more?
One more. There's no filing fee. Candidates for King County precincts must file with King County Elections candidate filing period, as I mentioned, for 12/1/22 to 11/30/24. 24. Doesn't that ring a bell? How important is 2024? Mail, as I said, mailing has been open since May 2nd. I don't recommend it. But if you're going to do it, get it in fast. Mail is really slow. In person, May 16th starting at 8:30 a.m. on Monday, all the way through May 20th at 4:30 p.m. Online registration, which is, I recommend, May 16th, which begins at 9 a.m. in the morning and goes all the way through May 20th, but there's a dead stop at 4 o'clock where they don't accept filing applications anymore. But Monday through Thursday, the filing time is 24 hours. You have plenty of time to file before, after work, before shopping, after shopping. King County Elections are in Renton are at 919 Southwest Grady Way, Renton, Washington. For assistance, call King County Elections at 206-296-1565 or me. I will be available during that period from that Monday all the way through Friday contact me if you have any hiccups or issues while you're filing. I'll help you through it. And that's it. Thank you very much. And please file early. You don't want to rush your application at the end of this period. We lost a couple folks in 2020 because there was an overflow in the last half hour, and it made a mess, and a lot of people slipped through the cracks. So please contact me. And if you have questions during the filing period, as I said, I'm available. Text me, email me, call me. I'll be here for you to help you. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Nick. If anybody's not familiar with Nick, he will help you at any point in time with anything having anything to do with being a PCO. So thanks, Nick, for your continued commitment. All right, moving on to a quick election. Many of you may remember that our King County Rep Norman Sigler moved out of the district back in the early part of the year. Now we have someone who is willing to step up into the role of KCDC Rep. Might be familiar to you. This is an elected board position, so we need to have a formal election. I'm going to take a nomination at this time. Bunny, do you have a nomination for me?
Yes, I do. I would like very much to nominate Ted Barker for the position of King County Democratic Central Committee Representative, male identified or non-binary.
Thank you, Bunny. And Martin has seconded nomination of Ted Barker. He has held this position in the past, so we would love to have him back. Nominated Ted Barker to be our King County Dems representative. Thank you both. Are there any additional nominations for this elected representative to the King County Democrats? Would anyone else like to have this role? Anyone else? All right, hearing none, nominations are now closed. We can do this very officially, but I would love to move to a voice vote if no one has opposition to that. Anyone have opposition to doing a voice vote? Okay, great. So let's do our favorite thing and say all those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those opposed, please say nay. All right, the ayes have it, and the executive board welcomes Ted back to the board. Ted, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks for being willing to serve for the rest of this year. All right, moving on to our first resolution for the evening. I'd like to ask Bunny to join us. We're going to review two resolutions tonight. These are not the resolutions that we're considering as a delegation to the state convention. Totally separate from us. These are our own local 34th resolutions. We do have a short window to review these resolutions tonight because we've got two other big pieces of business to do. So I will limit discussion. I'd like to stay within 10 minutes for each of these resolutions, and then we'll hopefully call the question. Bunny, would you like to start with the resolution stating the 34th Democratic Legislative District's preferred alternative for a West Seattle extension and calling for a new independent study?
Yes, we have this resolution that's been submitted by, and of course, we've had a lot of discussion on it by Randy and Annie when she was here in the district, that calls for two things. First of all, it talks about the gondola that we talked about earlier as instead of light rail, and it asks for an independent study of the feasibility of it. The resolution itself cites the use of such gondolas in other communities around the country. and talks about the cost savings, time saving, and other less environmental damage and less displacement of homes and businesses by a gondola versus Sound Transit's plan for light rail. It asks two things. It calls for a new independent study, because the one that Sound Transit did was, they felt, rail biased. But it also then asks that the 34th take a position saying that we as a body have a preference for the gondola as an alternative for the West Seattle extension. So we're voting on two things. We're voting on calling for the study and saying that we have a preference for a gondola over light rail. At this point, because we've had a couple of presentations, I would like to make a motion that we adopt this resolution. And if I can get a second, then we can have some quick pro and con discussion.
Seconded. Randy
Thank
Luxembourger.
you. Okay, Randy, can I hand it off to you to speak for the resolution?
I'd be happy to.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Randy Luxembourger, along with Annie Phillips in the 33rd District. I am the co-chair of the Energy, Environment, and Land Use Caucus. The resolution under consideration speaks to identifying gondola as our preferred alternative, as we heard, to connect West Seattle to the current light rail stations in SoDo and the International District. It does also ask for an independent study of this alternative to compare costs and feasibility with light rail alternatives. Although Sound Transit released an internal feasibility report in April, it contained outdated information and by its own admission could not address a number of topics that were beyond the scope of the report. Critically, this includes a credible comparison of cost, environmental and carbon impact, displacement of homes and businesses in West Seattle, and timelines for completion. We have deep concerns about the inequity of a light rail alternative that displaces large swaths of our West Seattle community. At April's membership meeting, Sound Transit representatives were unable or unwilling to address these vital questions. In comments concerning the draft EIS released this week, the city of Seattle stated significant concerns, even referring to the problems posed by light rail construction as unmitigable, therefore without resolution. We're left without answers to vital questions. The situation can be remedied through an independent study. If passed by the 34th Democrats, we hope that the Sound Transit Board of Directors will see this as a clear signal of the need to change course. Finally, as an institution, the 34th Democrats have been the greatest advocate, really, for all members of our community in West Seattle and elsewhere. Tonight, we must consider those made vulnerable to the destruction of their homes, businesses, and natural spaces by a light rail proposal with serious shortcomings. I encourage everyone here to support a gondola alternative and an independent study by voting in favor of the resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Randy. Do we have a speaker against the resolution?
Would any, I'm going to take it back, Bunny. Would any PCO or member like to speak against the resolution?
This is Tamsin Spangler, and I would.
Okay, go ahead.
After reading this, I was wondering a few things about the gondola system because I had missed some meetings, but I have read some things about the gondola, and I really want to thank Annie for her response to my questions, and Randy in response to my questions. I'm okay with it, except for the part that says that we prefer our aerial urban gondola system over light rail. I mean, I like to think of maybe a combination of both. And this to me is kind of saying that we don't want light rail at all. We just want gondola, the way it's worded, by prefers an aerial urban gondola system, because I do still have some concerns about the system, the gondola system, and look forward to a more in-depth independent study. So I am for the study because I did read the Sound Transit's last study that they did, and I found out today from Randy and Annie that that was based on data that's 7 years old. So yes, I do prefer another independent study, but I don't want to say that I prefer to have just the gondola and not the light rail. That's my objection to this proposal.
Thank you, Tamsin. Would you like to make a motion to make an amendment to the language?
Yes, I would like to make a motion to change or delete the word prefers an aerial urban gondola system. Or somehow say that maybe after we see the independent study, we would prefer that option, but we would like to see an independent study done again and then decide whether that is the preferred alternative.
Frankly, a crackpot idea.
Please go on mute if you have not been recognized. Okay, so I need to, if you're making a motion, I need like a very specific language change. I have the resolution up.
Okay.
And I think I know where you are, right here at the prefers line.
So maybe we could say may prefer an aerial urban gondola system to serve the Trans-New community after an independent study has demonstrated that that would be the best alternative, something like that. And that the whole community agrees with that.
Anne, you're so good at this, please help me.
Right, I was gonna ask if Anne could edit.
Yes.
Yeah, and I was going to second it. So unfortunately, I have this in a too small. Let me see.
Oh, let me make it a little bigger for you.
May prefer an aerial urban. Yeah, that's better. I can see it better too. Thanks, Anne.
Or even take out the part starting with the word prefers and write down until the word urges. And we just at this point urge Sound Transit to contact an independent consultant and hold back on stating preference.
Yeah,
I think that would achieve what Tamsin is going for. What I hear her saying is that we want to encourage, we want to urge the study, but to make the judgment that we prefer it before the results of that study. I had an issue with that when you initially said there are two parts. It's like
I agree also. I agree also, because we're saying we prefer it when we haven't had the study.
Guys, I have to pull my parliamentary procedure out here. One person at a time. Anne is the only person that has the floor right now.
Right. So I think that Bunny's suggested solution, take everything out from prefers an aerial, et cetera, to and that it reads, the organization urges Sound Transit to contract with an independent consultant.
Okay, so you're saying I'm going to.
Is that what you mean?
That is my edit, yes.
Yeah, and Tamsin, since you are the author, is that what you're aiming for?
Yes, and then we could see the new study and then make another, then say we prefer it, because there was an environmental impact study just done, and there were over 5,000 comments in that study, but we have not seen how many people in that study may have said they would rather have a gondola system. I mean, I just want to know that it's something that the whole community, if I'm saying this is something the whole community wants, I would want to be sure that it is something that the whole community wants. So
Okay,
maybe we can also see that, we can also see what the comments were that were just finished this month from the environmental impacts study that was done, statement that was done.
Okay, so I'll just ask one last time. Is this what I have here on the screen, your motion?
Yes, that's my motion.
Perfect.
Thank you.
All right, do I have a second?
I was seconding it. This is Anne.
Okay, thank you. All right, is there any discussion further than what Tamsin has mentioned? Anyone against, Tamsin spoke on behalf of this change. Is there anyone that would like to speak against the change? I have two hands. I'm only going to do one at a time, and we'll have to go back and forth. So Catherine, are you speaking against the change?
Yes, I'd like to at least respond to the concerns that Tamsin raised as a point of discussion about the change that she's asking for.
Okay. I'm gonna, we have to be very prudent with time. So we had ample opportunity to discuss this, so we've got to keep the time tight, or we're gonna be here till 10 o'clock doing bylaws.
So I'll be brief. One point that she raised was the possibility of a gondola and light rail. And I want to be very clear that the proposal for a gondola is for a very short section called the spur line, referred to as a spur line, only from the Soto or Chinatown station to essentially the junction, not for anything further south or more extensive than that. The second point I will make is that we have a fairly short window of time to make a difference with any kind of resolution, in that the Sound Transit Board will be voting in July. And so given that government works at the speed of glaciers, we should just be mindful of that in terms of making a resolution now. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, excuse me, I need a speaker for the amendment. I have 3 hands: Karen Richter, Chris Porter, David Curlett. Karen, I saw your first. Are you for this change?
No, I'm not.
Okay, anybody for making this change?
Oh, I am.
Okay, Chris, go ahead.
Chris Porter, State Committee person. The reason I'm in support of this change is I think Tamsin is spot on. We don't have the information to say we prefer. The summary that we received at our previous meeting sort of made almost light of gondola without us really having a best understanding of possibilities of it, not even the mentioning of gondolas that are successful in other cities around the world, in which they have done some very good work to bring those systems to urban settings and moving people around. So I think that this is a great opportunity to do that. The fact that we think our government works at a glacier speed should not stop us from using our voice and letting our intentions and wishes be known to the very folks that represent us or are elected or are appointed to provide services to us. And that's why we should continue with this resolution and that change. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Okay, one more speech, and it has to be against making this change. Catherine, your hand is still up. Karen, would you like to speak against making the change? Karen Richter? All right, and Chris, you have already spoken. I'm going to lower your hand. Is there anyone else that would like to speak against making this update?
Come on. You should.
Karen?
I'm sorry. My husband might want to make a statement.
Okay.
Yes, I basically look at this, and I've been involved in transportation projects for years and years. And I remember that we had a vote that
The monorail.
approved the monorail, and that delayed the implementation of the light rail for a number of years. And then I look at the data, and I'm very concerned that you're looking at apples and oranges. The light rail will have a capacity that's significantly higher than the monorail, and it will serve more people. Or not the monorail, but the gondola. And I just find that to be an amazing issue that you should consider as something that, I don't want to belabor this, but it's just something that the capacities are significantly different. They're apples to
Yeah.
oranges, and the light rail will be.
I'm sorry,
more-
Paul, I'm gonna interrupt you for a
That's
second.
fine.
It
I'm
sounds-
done. I'm done. That's fine.
It's okay. It sounds like you were speaking on behalf of, speaking against the entire resolution.
Yes.
Not
Yes, I
against-
was.
Okay, so that's kind of out of order. We were
Oh,
actually.
I
just
apologize.
talking-
Okay.
That's okay. We were just, I just was looking for someone, one last person to speak against making this change in particular.
Against making what change?
Okay. I will come back to you and let you totally finish your thought when we are voting on the entire resolution. At this point in time, I don't have a ballot made for an amendment, so I'm going to go with a count of hands. And I want you to raise your hand. Again, you should only vote if you are a PCO or a current 2022 member of the organization. So at this time, if you are voting eligible, raise your hand if you are for removing this language. So this thing that I've got here highlighted, you would be for removing the language. All right. I have 20 hands up, 21 hands up of 38. So I think that is indicative of a vote that this will, of a positive vote to remove this language. So now we will go back to the original resolution as amended. Please take your hands down. I don't know if I can do that myself. Maybe I can. Take your hands down. Actually, we're not going to do hands again, so we won't need to worry about that. Now we're back to the original resolution with this language pulled. I'm going to take 1 for and 1 against if there's anyone who likes to speak, and then we're going to vote, and then that's it. So 1 person. And Randy, you have spoken on the original amendment, or excuse me, on the original resolution. So I want to ask, I'm going to take the next person that I saw, again, in favor of the resolution as amended. David Kurlik. Oh, sorry. Your
No,
hand.
I'm on the other side, I'm against.
Okay, got it. Art, are you speaking on behalf of passing the amended resolution?
Carla, I'm asking for a point of information, and I'd like to have the entire resolution available on the screen.
Well, I can't do that. It's going to be too small.
That's okay. Maybe you
If
can
you
just
click-
scroll it.
Okay. The resolution should also be in this in the chat for you if you need to look at the whole thing. If you want me to scroll through it here, I can do that. What's your point? We have to keep this moving, guys. We're not going to get through with all our business if we keep belaboring the vote here. What's your
Thank you.
point? Or do you have a point of information?
Thank you for
Now you're very robotic and I can't hear you.
I have another comment. With my hand, get my blocking.
Or I'm not hearing you. You're very robotic in and out. I'm gonna, hopefully, maybe you can go to another part of the room to get a better connection. I need 1 person speaking on behalf of passing or adopting this amended resolution. James, are you ready to speak?
Yes, I am, if you can hear me.
I can. You sound great.
Oh, great. No, an independent study is just what's needed here. And to really look at the cost here, I mean, the potential is a 10 times fold or tenfold saving from $3.2 billion down to something between 2 and 500 million. Quite a difference besides the benefits. And we ought to give it a shot, let an independent study with experts tell us whether this is the thing to do or not. And that's all that's being requested. I hope everyone will support it.
Okay, thank you. All right, I'm going to take one person speaking against. I think David Kerlick, are you, there we go.
Yeah, I'm here. I think it's a crazy idea, and I think it's a waste of money to study it. It's not even comparable. It's, you know, it's a tenth of the cost. It's a tenth of the service. And you know, there's no provision whatever for people in wheelchairs or people with disabilities. There's no way to get people in time onto a loaded car. I've been like to La Paz, Bolivia. It's okay for something that rises 3,000 feet, but not for a major urban center and not for a major link. It's just crazy. And whoever the independent study is just going to pocket 100K, and it's beating a dead horse.
All right, thank you. All right, debate is now closed. I'm going to launch a poll and we're going to vote on this. Give me 1 second. All right, launching poll. Again, the first question is in favor of adopting the resolution as amended. And then you have opposed to adopting the resolution as amended. Please vote as quickly as you can. And again, please do not vote unless you are a PCO or a current member.
Carla?
Yes.
I am, is it because I'm a
It's because you're a co-host. Go ahead and
Yes.
message Carla what your vote is.
Actually, let me un-co-host you.
Okay,
and then you can vote.
Thank you.
Steve, I'm gonna un-co-host you too. Good call, Sarah. I will I'm gonna go do that. So everybody should be able to vote except for me, and I can't vote anyway. Thanks, Rachel.
Thank you.
Okay, we have 32 of 36, which is pretty darn close. 88%. We are at 19 in favor of adopting, 13 opposed to adopting. So this resolution as amended is passed.
Okay, Carla, my name is Gail, and I am a paid member, and I did not see the poll.
Okay.
And I vote no.
Okay, so that would be 19 votes for and 14 votes against. So we are still above the 50% plus one threshold. And Gail, thank you for shouting that out. When we vote on the other things this evening, if you will just text me your vote in the chat and just send it to me personally, I will collect your vote that way.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Okay. Isn't this fun? All right, I'm going to stay over here and I'm going to move on to our second resolution. Bunny, I think
Yes, I'm back.
This will probably go a lot faster than the other one.
I hope.
Let's just be as quickly as we can on the resolution.
Yeah, and we discussed a little of this earlier as well in our candidate discussions.
We sure did.
This is a resolution in support of the Keep Our Care Act, which affects mergers and acquisitions in the healthcare industry. Right now, especially here in Washington, we've seen a lot of mergers and acquisitions that at this point have placed almost 50%, 49% of all hospitals are now controlled by religious organizations, mostly Catholic. And because of this, it creates barriers to access of some healthcare services such as contraception, abortion, death with dignity, transgender health care, and as well as these consolidations negatively impact cost, quality, and wait times. So the resolution points out all of the negatives to these acquisitions and that it worsens equity as well because it disproportionately limits access for Medicaid patients and people of color. So it asks that we support and ask our legislators to pass the Keep Our Care Act, joining other states like Oregon, Massachusetts, and California, that would prohibit such consolidations and mergers if it diminished access to quality care. And it also requires the Attorney General to ensure that such consolidations don't impact access to health services, especially in marginalized communities, and to require public hearings and comment opportunities prior to these proposed consolidations. At this point, I would like to hand off to Roxanne Thayer. First of all, I would like to make a motion that we adopt this resolution. And if I can get a second, I would hand off to Roxanne to speak for the resolution.
Who was
Chris
the
Porter,
second?
second.
Thank
you, Chris.
Okay, Roxanne.
Okay, some of you may already be aware, but CHI Franciscan was found in violation of federal antitrust legislation in their mergers and acquisitions of healthcare facilities and hospitals in Washington state. The Attorney General supports the Keep Our Care Act. It was a bill in the House and the Senate, both of which failed. When I asked a senator, how could these have failed? Because this simply puts in place regulations that can be managed by our Attorney General to regulate these mergers and acquisitions. And I was told that the hospital lobby is in control and out of control in Olympia. So this resolution would be asking our legislators to support the Keep Our Care Act and have the courage to stand up against the hospital lobby to support their constituents. And again, we have lost close to 50% of our healthcare to faith-based organizations, and they do take away quite a bit. Even in situations of emergency abortions, the attending physician has to apply to an ethics committee that can sometimes take a week or two to come back with a statement on whether the abortion would save the woman's life. And by that time, the woman would be dead. So quite a few physicians have already done what needed to be done to save a woman's life and risk the chance of being fired. These mergers and acquisitions also lead to a reduction in the force of nurses on staff in hospitals, and in at least 2, if not probably 4 of the mergers that I am personally aware of, they have removed the mental health beds. And when asked, 2 of the hospitals, one said, we refer them to Harborview, and the other one said, we put them out the front door and they have to find a ride home. So I urge you to support this resolution. Thank you.
I'm afraid my dog actually agreed with you, Roxanne. All right, thank you so much. Is there anyone who would like to speak against this particular resolution, or are there any questions? Anyone want to speak against? All right, this is going to be much easier. I will go ahead and pop this poll open, and let's take care of this resolution. I will also, while I'm launching this, I will also note that this resolution has been submitted to our delegation for consideration to submit to at the state level. So go ahead and vote.
And Carla, this says in favor of adopting the resolution as amended.
That's just parentheses if we needed it. I have to do these ballots ahead of time. No amendments on this one. Thanks for pointing that out. All right, looking good. Okay, perfect. Thank you. The resolution is adopted. Thanks, everyone. We are at 28 out of 20, excuse me, 29 out of 29. So that is enough to get us across the threshold. So I'm going to end the poll. Thank you, everyone. Okay, let me get back to the next exciting thing. All right, so budget, more exciting business. End of fiscal year, mentioned that earlier, April 30th, your year-end report was sent out to all members and PCOs. As Julie mentioned, we were at an ending balance of $30,444.71, which is about $4,000 more than we had at the start of the fiscal year. So that's a good thing. The proposed budget, Julie and I worked together on this. Nothing super new or crazy in here. It's based on the expenses that we've had and kind of how we've settled in with COVID, and we have our Zoom license that we have to maintain, and you know, we've got our fundraiser coming up. We've got, you know, a lot of things planned in the future for income and expense, and we feel we, you know, have a pretty good representation for you. And we sent it over we sent a request over to all our committee chairs so they had input as well, and thus having a nice fully scoped out budget for you. The budget was also, as I said, emailed to you over the weekend, and I'm going to switch over now to that so we can take a closer look at it, and I'll invite Julie to come up and take you through a few, you know, sort of high level details. I'm going to make this a little bit larger, but it's going to start going off screen, unfortunately. Actually, let me see if I can make this a little bit better.
That's good.
Okay, great.
For me, at least, I can see it.
Okay.
Okay, so this is our proposed budget for the new fiscal year, started May 1st, and it goes through April 30th, 2023. First of all, we have our income, which is very important. We have our general donations of 1,000, membership proposed of 25,000. Our carryover is our beginning balance, which was at the end of this month, which is the $30,444.71. So our total is $56,444.71. We have 1,000 budgeted expenses for membership, so we end up with $55,444.71. This is very important that we reach this. Our next is the election and campaign support, which is extremely important. So our expenses end up being $39,000 for the campaigns, for the GOTV, the campaign contributions, and the primary reserve of $20,000.
And just want to make a quick highlight on the primary reserve. This is for that big event we have to put on to host the primary. We have been requested to save $5,000 per year, so that we have about $20,000 to put into that event. Of course, that event might take a different state, and it might not need all of that. But we want to have that in reserve just in case we need to do that big event for the primary.
Okay, then we have our communications expenses. Those are pretty straightforward. Our total is $960. Then we get to our fundraising and events committee. This is income also, so it's very important. Our annual fundraiser is projected income of $20,000. The picnic, $2,000. The Change Makes Sense, $2,000 based on what we have received previously. And merchandise sales, our expenses are $3,000, $1,250 respectively. Then we have our member meetings. The August member meeting venue rental expense is $3,750. The holiday party is $3,000. So that's a total of $6,750. When we add that with the annual fundraiser and the picnic, we end up at $11,000. But our projected income is $24,500. So we net $13,500. Okay. Then we get to the piece, you want to say something, Carla?
Yeah, sorry, just want to clarify on this line here. We are not sure at this point in time about meeting in person still. The board's going to discuss this. I have some recommendations. We'll see where we land. What I had put in here, what we have in here, the 3750 would actually give us several meetings in person should we go that direction. It would not give us enough money to go every month.
Correct, yeah. It
So
was
if-
like every 2 or 3 months or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, we don't have our plan in place for that yet, and we hope to announce that at the next meeting, how we're gonna move forward for our meetings. But I just wanted to call that out. That's for the whole budget period, including August through April.
Right, and given COVID, we don't know, but we wanted to have something in there, so in case we could do that. Okay, so then we have the PCO committee expenses. They end up being 3,100. Then we get to the programs. They're 2,000. The organizational is the biggie. That's where our bulk of our expenses are.
Oh, Julie, you missed outreach.
I forgot outreach. I'm sorry. So the outreach, we have expense of 1,000. Holiday service project will get the 1,000 back as income, and then 250 for office supply. I'm sorry, outreach supplies. I can't see. So we end up where we end up, 25. Yeah. So that's our expense for that is 2,250. Okay, now we get to the organizational. And we have the expenses for the committees, the holiday donations, the credit card transaction fees, the legal fees, the deputy treasurer, the annual awards, and the post office box. These are all major things that we have to have. And then we get to Zoom, which is all the online meetings, the NGP, which provides all our information. The Rev is the closed captioning and MoneyMinder for all the banking. So that total is 6,315. Then we have office supplies and the Secretary of State. So our total expenses are 15,590. So at the end, we end up with an income of 81,944.71, expenses of 74,900. So our balance at the end of the year, if everything is on budget and as we put in here, is $7,044.71 net income.
Now,
I'm sorry, it's a lot of numbers to read off and everything. My mouth is like, sorry.
All right.
Any questions?
And just keep in mind that the 7,000 that we have kind of netting at the end of the year, if we do all that we say that we're going to do, is in addition to that reserve of 20,000 that we talked about a little bit ago for the primary, this right here. So technically, you know, we'd be looking at 25,000 plus carrying in, which is very good, very much more than we had before. Okay, Art, you have a question?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. So I noticed that we have the $3,000 expense there for credit card and banking fees. That amounts to about 12% of our expected income, and it just seems awfully high to me. Are the banks trying to screw us, or are we getting our money's worth?
It allows us to take credit cards. We don't really have a whole lot of choice in it because it is all done through our state party NGP website. This is not necessarily our bank fees. These come in from our tool, which is a negotiated rate that the state party does. So I don't know that there's a whole lot we can do to change the course of history on that one.
So just to clarify, then, so this represents what is in accord with what we paid in the past for those?
Yes.
Yes.
Actually, oh goodness, I don't have the document up, but the budget report that was sent out to everyone has the current amount that we have paid up to date through, obviously the end of fiscal year. And I think it was a little less than that.
Yeah.
We also had a pretty big hit last summer because we had that huge influx of members, and our membership income was about 14,000 higher than we expected, which then of course equates to more bank fees because all of our membership income comes through credit card transaction fees.
And however, it is an option when you do your membership to also cover the bank fee.
Yes, actually, that's a great point.
Which really does help because it lowers the bank fees that come out of the 34th account.
Yeah.
So that $3,000 can go down. And we have been getting quite a few of them. So that it is really nice because I do the splits and I go, oh, they paid the bank fee. So that's good. So it didn't come out. So we have that money to spend elsewhere.
And again, that's an option for anyone who uses, NGP through a membership, a ticket. They can opt. They don't have to, but they can opt to pay the bank fees. I know it's a tough thing, but I guess it's part of doing business in the electronic age.
Well, on a $15 membership, it's all of 69 cents.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, any other questions?
Yeah, Chris Porter.
I was just going to say thank you, Madam Chair, that as a having been a business owner, there are two areas where banks have their bread and butter: late fees and transaction fees. And there's really no great way you're going to save on that unless you're doing transactions by the millions and they offer you that. So it's just, I did pay the transaction fee when I bought a ticket for our fundraiser because I'm aware of how that eats into the bottom line. Having been a business owner, you just have to cover those transaction fees, and that's just banking bread and butter right there.
And I would say too that, with when you're talking about volunteer time, I would much rather pay 59 cents or whatever it was on that membership.
69 on a $15 membership.
Than having, no one to do the work to do all of the banking that is required when you're taking paper checks. Totally painful. And especially given that our treasurer is in Vashon, that would be even more painful.
Yes,
to get it
thank
to
you.
Umpqua Bank. So cost of doing business. Any other questions? All right, I got your hand, Chris. Okay, well, Julie, would you like to make a motion?
I would like to make a motion that we adopt the proposed 2023 budget.
I'll second.
Bunny Hatcher, second. Thank you, Bunny. All right, Julie has motioned to adopt the proposed budget. I I'm going to shoot a poll out really quick here. Again, members and PCOs only, please vote now. And then the really exciting thing starts, bylaws. And I know we're getting close.
Just got goosebumps.
I know that we're getting close to the end. Okay, I'm going to end the poll. Everybody's voted yes. Thank you very much. All right, awesome. All right, let me switch over to my favorite thing. I don't usually have all these tabs. Okay, 37 people left. No, that's not right. 28 people left. Okay, very importantly, we've got a pretty heavy revision on our bylaws. I want to thank Sarah Koch, who led the committee to review our bylaws, to make all the updates. Ted Barker was involved, Les Trail was involved, I was involved. We had a great discussion in the board, going through all of what we're gonna take a look at here. You're gonna see a lot of color on this page. Hopefully, is everybody seeing? Okay, I'm still screen sharing. Okay, great. You're gonna see a lot of color here. What we did with this is, I'm a nitpicker. I think most of you who know me well know that I want things to be a certain way. And there is a lot of cleanup that was done in this document. I wanted to get it very nicely organized, up to date. There were a lot of things in here that didn't really match the way we do things. So we wanted to make those edits. And then there are a few things that are actually new. This document's been available on our website, in our emails for over 30 days. I didn't hear a single thing from anyone, questions or otherwise. So I'm hoping that I can zip through this, point out the changes, the additions to the document, and get through this evening. If I know it's late, I think we could do this fairly quickly. If we get below 20, actually, if we get below 21 people on the call, I'm going to have to pause it and we will pick it up in August. And I would really hate to do that. So just again, the document has 3 colors: new content, red. Those are the ones I'm going to point out, and we can you can ask questions. There's gold, this orangey gold color. All that is making it up to date to current practice, changing 10 days from 9 days. So really just making it current. Then the green items are only edits for clarity, reformatting, reorganization of the document. The material is not changed. The thoughts are not changed. So I am going to skip through those. I fully realize that we're going to zip through this and it might be too fast for you. If at any point in time I hear a single person who's a member that says this is going too fast and we need to take more time, I will promise you I will take most of the meeting in August and go through this slowly after people have more time to read. But I feel like we can get this done. So with that little setup, I'm going to move all the way down. And Sarah's going to put this in the chat if you want to pull this up on your own screen. I'm going to move down to the first set of red, which is in Article 2, section. Oh, hold on. I'm going to move 2 to 3. Oh, sorry. This is the wrong document. Good grief. Hang on one second. We're going to come back to that one. Okay, here's where I'm supposed to be. Okay, so the first change, Article 2, Section 9, right here. Members shall not use any title of office to identify themselves as representing 34th District Democrats unless authorized by the membership or the executive board. This we added in to essentially cover ourselves. We don't want folks, either former or current, members or board members, anyone really to go out there and speak on behalf of our organization. Any questions on that one? And I want you to shout out because I'm looking at paper and I'm looking at my screen and I can't be looking for hands at the same time. So just shout it out. Okay, the next thing is this whole section on PCOs. Our document did not have a lot of the sort of standard language around PCOs. So we have added all of that standard language in, and you'll see, references to RCW, which is law. It's got definitions of appointed versus elected. Again, nothing is anything we invented here. We are taking language from other LDs, from King County, to standardize the definition of our PCO organization and our officers. So that is this fairly large section. Any questions on the PCO section? Okay, great. Moving down to Article 4, Section 2. Right here. This is a new, is a material change. It is expressly noting what I need to do to notify the membership of meetings and how I do that. So the section was here, but we just added in very specifically how that communication needs to be done. It was very vague before, and that's actually been a problem in the past. So a new piece there, but just clarifying what we do and making it very specific how we communicate. Any questions on that one? Okay, all right, y'all being easy. Okay, now the next piece is a piece of the Section 8 here. We put this in during COVID or when COVID hit us, when we were in all that chaos of how do we hold meetings that can't be in person. The state provided, as you can kind of see in the cross through, specific bylaws language, which they have since removed and recommended a different approach. So this whole Section 8, which we adopted 2 years ago, hard to believe it's been that long, we want to remove that because we're going to replace it here with this remote participation section. The remote participation section really just goes in and talks about that we're going to describe in full how we'll operate in a remote environment, like we're doing right now. We're going to do that in our standing rules. We don't want to define all of this in our our bylaws, because then we have to go through and make amendments, and it's a more difficult process. So we want to set up the details of remote participation in our standing rules. And then there are 3 other little sections here that do call out some specifics that are appropriate for the bylaws. Any questions on the removal of this old language from the state and the replacement with the remote participation? Any questions? Anne, go ahead.
Yeah, it's a fairly minor question. Was there discussion about giving accessibility to people who may have difficulty getting to our meetings through the remote, not necessarily the entire organization meeting remotely, but using that as a mechanism for access for people who can't participate physically at the meetings?
Sure. Actually, we haven't discussed what those remote participation specifics are because we have not taken, we haven't really thought through that from a standing rules perspective. You see where I've got this highlighted, where we're proposing standing rules for remote participation, and I would think that level would be. Sorry, I'm getting some feedback. Okay.
Yeah, it's late. That's fine. Thank you. I just wanted to get that into the dialogue.
Sure. And if you have any specific points or input, I'm happy to take those and we'll incorporate those in the standing rules. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, moving on. We're going to get down to section 9, I think. Okay, here we are. All right, section 9 of Article 6. Section 9 defines the expectations of being a board member and participating in meetings, and also outlines how the chair may look at participation or lack thereof, and what we might do about that when a board member is not holding up their end of the participation bargain from a meetings and membership and meetings of the board perspective. This actually is also covered very specifically in Article 7. We didn't have anything in here that holds, our board members accountable to participate in the meetings that we all commit to do. So we wanted to add that. Any questions on that one? Okay. Moving on down. We're in the executive board election terms and vacancies section, which moving to section 7. This is a brand new section that, again, it's going back to that filling vacancies. We didn't have any way to specifically secede to the next person in line should a chair, the chair position go vacant. So we wanted to define how this would work, how that succession would happen, and essentially some timelines around that. September 1st, we've got some timing in there, 45 days after resignation, just really putting all of that process in writing. Again, wasn't in the document before, so brand new. Any questions on this section around filling in a vacancy of the chair? And this isn't put here because I'm getting ready to go vacant, if you were wondering. Okay, moving on.
That was a good one, Carla.
Article 8, officers. This is a clarification that was requested as the chair leads the board and membership meetings. Before, it did not define which meetings they lead. So there was just some concern over making that definition to be sure that the chair didn't think nor presume that they needed to lead all meetings of the organization, including committee meetings. So just a clarification there, but an important one. Anybody have any questions on that one? All right. Moving down to 10, Article 10, endorsements. All right, in section 2. Oh, okay. So this, you're going to see a lot of red line here. So all this. What we found when we looked at our endorsement rules, which is a document, and then our bylaws, which is a document, two separate things. We had endorsement stuff in bylaws and endorsement stuff in the rules. And what we wanted to do is have a one-stop shop, one document that defines all things endorsement. So what we've got here is we're basically taking out all this language because it's mostly already covered in the other document. We also, and this is an important thing to note, is that the endorsement rules are separated on their own, which is this whole separate document over here, which we worked on quite a bit last year. It's separate so that we can actually hand it out to candidates and their campaigns. We don't want to basically give them a 10-page bylaws document and say, go figure it out. So the endorsement rules are an addendum to the bylaws. And that's something that we wanted to specify here, as you see in section 2, this little section, because as it stood, there is a way to basically, I'm trying to remember what the term is. Sarah, if you remember it, help me out here. When you basically say, we don't want to, we're not going to observe the rules. We're not going to observe standing rules. And that allows you to, in a meeting, kind of do what you want to do. We don't want that to happen in endorsements. So we want the endorsement rules to be a part of bylaws, because bylaws cannot be, what is the word? And suspended. Thank you. It's late, guys. I'm sorry. I've been going since 5:30 a.m. You are not allowed to suspend bylaws. Can't do it. So by including our endorsement rules inside the bylaws as an addendum, we protect those endorsement rules in the same way. Does that make sense? Anybody have any questions on that? It's kind of a nuanced thing. Okay, everyone's, see, we should do all sorts of business at 9 o'clock, then it moves really quickly.
That's why I asked a question.
I'm just cracking up over here.
Still here.
Go, Carla, go.
All right. So again, moving all endorsements information into the endorsement addendum, which is now part of the bylaws. That's the gist of this whole piece. Anybody have any questions or issues? All right, I'm moving on. Down to resolutions. I don't think there's anything in that section. Okay, now this is the fun part. This is brand new. And I'm going to do a little setup on this. This Article 12 is a brand new thing that is probably unique to us. We would like to initiate what we're going to call a declaration. What that is what this is it's going to allow our caucuses, who are led by appointed leaders who answer to the board and to the membership, some leeway when they want to go out and advocate for a bill. Think of the session this past year. Very much at the end of session, we had to zoom in with a resolution for multiple environmental bills. And that process moves far too slow for that really fluid, quick moving legislative process. What I don't want is to tie the hands of our caucuses to speak, to advocate on behalf of things that we are already in alignment with the membership that we approve and support. So what this part does, what this new part does, 3 little sections here, is it allows, in the case where there is a bill that is tied directly to an approved platform item in our platform, which we all voted on, we all accepted, we all adopted, or a bill is tied to an existing resolution that we have in our tool belt, they are able to do the following. They would submit to hold on, let me see if I'm actually gonna read this piece straight away so that my sleepiness doesn't mess this up. A caucus may approve a declaration of support for or a declaration of opposition to a bill introduced before a city council within King County, the King County Council, the Washington State Legislature, or the U.S. Congress. Any declaration must be submitted to and approved by the Platform and Legislative Action Committee chair or other chair as designated by the chair of the organization and the chair. So both the PLAC chair and the chair of the 34th would have to be notified prior to the action being taken. A simple majority vote of the caucus would be needed for that approval. And in caucuses of less than 3 people, a majority vote of the executive board would be required. The declaration of support or opposition must be in keeping with membership adopted resolutions and/or the current platform. If a declaration meets these criteria, it may be deemed as supported by the 34th District Democrats. And I'll add on to this to say, without coming back to the membership in the form of a resolution. So we're skipping that resolution process because what they want to advocate for is already approved in the platform. Declarations taken by caucus must be published within 10 days of initial caucus action. So what that would mean is Randy comes to me and says, hey, we want to go out and support Bill XYZ, right? Bill XYZ ties right into the platform and everyone agrees that this is something that we have approved as an organization. Randy gives me that information and I will publish it either in the email or in, I probably will make a web page for this to just kind of document all of our declarations. So there is notification, there is there's a publishing step for what is being done as a declaration. Anybody have any questions on this?
Madam Chair, I think it's a wonderful idea. I appreciate your work in putting that together for the declaration.
Randy, could you, sorry, could you repeat one more time?
I just said, I think it's a wonderful idea. I appreciate your work in putting together this opportunity for declarations. It's going to speed us up a lot, especially when it comes to the legislative sessions that are so fast moving, as you said.
Awesome. Thanks, Randy. Art.
Yes, I have a question as to sort of the timeline of being able to get all of that accomplished in order to be able to get the declaration. So, in other words, anybody may write a declaration and submit it for support, but that's going to require a
Only
vote.
the caucuses. Only the caucuses.
Only the caucus may. It says that a caucus may approve a declaration. It doesn't say that they're the only ones who would write it.
Okay, I see how you're reading this. Yeah, I can see where that might be reworded. Any suggestions?
Well, so presumably you, if you're a member of the caucus, you would present something to your caucus chair.
Yep.
And to the chair of the organization, and ask for some kind of timely action. And unless that's to take place, if it doesn't have to take place at a meeting, either a board meeting or a caucus meeting, if those are only once a month, then it could retard the ability to be able to make those declarations and get them out there. So
How they vote is up to the caucus. They can do that, you know, they can do that how, you know, through a Slack vote or email, whatever. The key is that the caucus lead takes a vote and brings the product of that vote to the PLAC chair and myself, or the chair.
Right.
So that can be done very quickly.
So if I were, as a member of PCO, if I notice something that's being presented to, say, a city council or whatever, I could then present a declaration to the caucus by emailing or getting in contact with that
Sure.
that committee head chair, and give them a chance to then approve that.
Yes.
And state something about, you know, how you know, whether it's an emergency or what the urgency of it is. So
yeah, I mean, I think the scenario that you played out there, you know, I'm a member. I am either a member of a caucus or not a member of a caucus. I want to be able to, or I mean, think about it. The caucuses are the advocacy arm of our organization. So individuals, this is for our caucuses. This is not about, you know, and the average member being able to go out on their own outside of a caucus and advocating on behalf of the 34th. It's only caucuses.
I understand, but you may want to have, say, you know, PCOs advocating for it as well. They may not be members of the caucus. And you would have the opportunity to, I'd say a PCO in particular, a PCO may come across something that hasn't come to the attention of the caucus or anyone else. And
then they should go to the caucus.
Right.
This is
That's
not
what I'm
something
saying.
that, so I would stand very against including PCOs in this. This is a caucus specific process.
I'm sorry, Carla, can I jump in here?
Sure.
I'm just going with what he's trying to say. I think he's trying to say if he wanted to present something to the caucus,
sure,
then the time frame for that to happen, to get through the caucus, to get approved, which the other gentleman was talking about, would saying this is timeline would work well for them. I think that's his question. What you're trying to tell him, I think, is that if he has something he wants to present, he can present it to the caucus. Then the caucus, what you're saying is the caucus deals with it and then approves it or not, and then it moves forward. Am I correct here?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
This is not an individual, advocacy on behalf of the organization. This is the caucus being able to advocate on behalf of the organization. And again, what I mean by that is, I mean, any PCO can go and say, I'm advocating for X. I represent this precinct. Totally fine. But what we're talking about is saying that the caucus can say that the 34th District Democrats as an organization is in support of X. Totally big difference. Ann Martin?
Yeah, I hate to interrupt, but how much longer, how much more do we have? It sounds like this is an
the last
issue
thing.
that will need further discussion and further refinement, but so how long?
This is the last thing.
Oh, okay. I would encourage us to move along.
Is there any opposition to this notion of declaration? We've heard from Randy. Art,
Madam Chair?
Art would like to expand it to PCOs. Yes, sir.
Is that a motion Art is putting forward, or we just
That's a, yeah, that's, thank
talking
you,
about
Chris.
things?
I was totally gonna say that. Art, do you have a motion that you would like to make an amendment to this to include PCOs?
Let me see if I can raise my hand. Oh, yes, there we go. You already called them, so there we go. Well, I'm not sure that we need to, except that if you wanted to, it depends on how far you want to limit it. I think PCOs, who are one of the principal advocates for the 34th, that they should have the right to bring declarations to the caucus.
Oh, they can't. So Art, I think maybe we're just missing each other. A PCO can go to a caucus and ask or submit
right.
A request for declaration, but it is only the caucus that can push that forward.
Right. I get that. And I just wondered if we needed to say anything more about that, or as it stands, it seems as though anybody can bring a declaration to the caucus. And I'm just thinking that that might, really tie up the caucus. But certainly I think PCOs should be able to bring declarations to the caucus.
I mean, it's a true statement that anyone can take a request for a declaration to a caucus. I don't see any reason to prevent that. I would encourage people to join caucuses if they are at that point of advocacy. But yeah, I don't think there's any issue with that. Do we want, and I'm going to go with Ann on this and say I would like to move this along. Do we want to add a statement that caucuses are the only, or that this is a caucus only thing? I mean, something, obviously not saying that, but do we feel like that is needed?
Carla, I think this just describes what the caucus has to do. It's not about people sending stuff to the caucus.
Yep, that's true.
So it's about the caucus's role.
Right. And honestly, the caucuses may have more process than is stated here. The bylaws shouldn't be stating exact process. The bylaws should just lay out what this thing is and how we speak about it and how we use it. So again, Art, I'm trying not to ignore your input. Do you have a motion that you'd like to add some language, or is there, if not,
Well,
we're going to move forward?
Yeah, I guess I would suggest then that it read, a caucus may approve a declaration of support for or a declaration against a bill. Where we put this, which is may be brought to them by any member of the organization.
Okay. How about we do this? How about that?
Carla, I think that could actually work as a subsection
Oh, under here?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, no. Oh, no, I'm gonna mess up the format. Oh. Why does it do that? All right, hang on. I got too much stuff going on my screen here. How about that?
Yeah.
Looks great.
Any suggestions? Okay, so this is your motion. Let's just do a voice vote on adding this number one, section one, number one.
Carla, I'll go ahead and second that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Oh, there's still people out there.
Aye.
Awesome. Anyone opposed to this amendment? Chris Porter.
No, I don't. I'm going to lower my hand. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. All right, well, that's it.
Carla, wait a minute.
Sorry,
Oh.
motion passes. The amendment is in. And at this point in time, we're at the end of the red changes.
Excuse me, who seconded that?
Sarah Koch.
Sarah, okay.
Thank you, Steve. Steve is secretary this evening. Thank you again, Steve. All right, any other questions about any of these changes? Thank you for your patience. I love you people. Okay, let's do this. I'm gonna say, I need, we have a quorum. Okay, we're good. So we need,
You need a motion, Chair?
oh, yes.
I move that
Sarah?
we adopt the changes to the bylaw as presented and amended.
Fantastic.
I second it.
I second it.
I'm gonna say Chris Porter motion and Julie Whitaker second. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Anyone opposed, say nay. This is on our bylaws. I'm so excited. All right, we have adopted bylaws. Sarah.
Yeah.
Yay!
Congratulations.
All
I
right.
know how hard that is to do.
Yes, you were in charge one term ago. Awesome. Okay, Sarah, thank you so much for your work on this. Thanks, Ted, and I know Les isn't here. This was a huge endeavor. Much appreciated. I'm very relieved. And last thing I will say is, does anybody have quick good of the order?
So
I will-
Carla,
Yes.
I'm sorry, I have a question. So the proposed bylaws addendum for the endorsements was automatically voted on and
my
approved?
God. Oh my God. Sorry. We do have one quick thing on endorsements. Thank you, Julie. I totally lost.
Okay.
Good
Lost my
call.
mix. Okay, good call.
Thanks.
So endorsement rules, again, getting things up to our current practice with the exception of one thing. So Anne, I lied. I'm sorry. This is the one thing. Our voting procedure, we are changing again because we're doing things differently now. We don't have like 300 paper ballots to count. We are switching this to 2 to 3 persons in the tally committee. And we're adding dependent upon the type of tally required. And lastly, it does note the in-person or online meetings as well. And defines how we do our ballots. And it basically is allowing us to do things in a different way and not assuming that we're doing paper votes. That's the only change in here that changes anything in our practice.
And Chair, I move that we accept these changes to the endorsement process of bylaws as amended and presented.
Second,
Who was the second? Sorry, Bunny.
Bunny.
Awesome, thank you. Chris has motioned as well. Bunny has seconded. And assuming there's no discussion, because I shouldn't be making these assumptions, any discussion on this? Again, we have our one point. I will say that we are not going to be using this version of the rules because we're already in the middle of endorsements because we did 2 last month. So these will go into practice next year.
Carla, there is one hand up right now.
Oh, thank you, ma'am.
That might be my
Jen
hand.
Nye.
Thanks, Carla. Thanks for hanging in here. It's amazing.
Oh.
So I just wanted to call out to everybody that the signature campaign for the Universal Healthcare Ballot Initiative is underway. We have petitions. This is a limited short run just to make sure everything works out with the petition. So if you know you're going to be somewhere that's going to have a lot of people like Saturday, please reach out to me and let's hook up and I can get you some. We're also going to have a really strong West Seattle team out representing. We're going to meet for the first time in person tomorrow and strategize. So if anybody wants to be involved, just shoot me an email. It's Jen, Jen @wholewashington.org.
And Jen, I think I said this in email, but I'm happy to put something in the Steve can put something in the newsletter.
Yes,
Yeah.
we got great photos from the kickoff launch, so I'll send those to Steve.
Okay, perfect.
Thanks.
Awesome, thank you.
Madam Chair, we good in the order?
I have a question, Carla.
Yes.
You got those lines through the draft version and you said this wouldn't go in effect till next year. Isn't this the 2022?
Yes, but we've already started our endorsements with the ones we did last month. So it doesn't seem right to me to have a completely different document. And I think it might be confusing.
So this is the 2023?
Well, this will be our current.
This will be in effect.
I would assume that maybe we get through the primaries with the existing rules since we started with those, but then when we come for the general election later this year, that we revert to these.
That's a great suggestion.
So basically this covers the rest of the year and into the next.
No, this will cover the primary, and then we'll switch over. Sorry, the current ones will cover the primary. These new ones will start with the general.
Carla, did we actually take a vote?
I was just gonna say, and I don't think that we took a vote on the
Right.
endorsement rules, so let's do that really quick before we lose the last person for quorum. All those in favor say aye, please.
Aye.
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 Any nays? Okay, fantastic. We now have our 2022 general election endorsement rules that we'll take into next year. Okay, I'm also going to call out that Pramila's team reached out to me today. I didn't get this in the email yet, but I will get it in the email on Sunday that she's invited the 34th specifically to her kickoff. Sarah, I think I put a link at the bottom of the script. I hope I did. If you want to go to this, there's a specific link for the 34th that we're putting in there for you, and I'll put it in the email on Sunday as well. It's on the 21st. And I'm hopeful that she's coming to the fundraiser. I'm hopeful. I've got like a tentative. So, all right, any other good of the order?
Yes, last one. Madam Chair, Chris Porter, King Conservation District, when Representative Fitzgibbons and Senator Wynn spoke about asking your elected leaders about what they're doing in terms of the environment. I do want all of our members to remember that your King Conservation District and conservation districts around the state have environmental plans that address riparian repair, salmon recovery, orca recovery, management of manure for farms, management of forest and urban spaces and in rural spaces. And don't forget the work that they're doing, and that you can ask your elected leaders why, when will they take moves to move that election from hidden to a ballot so that everyone has access to things they're paying for through their taxes. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Awesome. Anyone else? All right, well, I'm betting at this point that our endorsement meeting will be shorter than this meeting. That's my bet. If there are no further business items and no objection, I will call the meeting to adjourn. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thanks, everybody.
Carla.
Seconded.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
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 Yay, we have bylaws. I'm excited. All right. Thanks, Joe. Have a
We
good
have
night.
a budget too.
Yes, that's right. We got so much business done tonight. I'm stoked.
We did get a lot done. You did a great job. It was awesome. Everybody was great.
It is definitely a relief to have this done before my induction.
Oh, you're getting induced?
Yeah, next Friday.
Oh my gosh, that's exciting. If you last that long.
If I last that long, oh my gosh, yeah.
Well, that is very, very exciting. Lots of baby.
Lots of baby in there.
Well, let us know. I check on you and I'm like, oh, is this gonna be the day she doesn't respond?
No worries. There will be a message when baby arrives.
Awesome. I'm sure you're ready.
Very.
All right, guys. Well, thank you, everyone. Appreciate your patience. Board members, I'll see you next Wednesday. I'll be dialing in from Birmingham, but and I will probably have had at least one cocktail.
I will probably not be attending.
And that's okay. We will give you a pass.
Have a cocktail.
All right. Thanks, guys. Good night.
Hey.
Night.
All right. Steve, thanks for
Night.
the double duty. Appreciate it.